Thanks for staying with us. All right, so today we're discussing the issue of indigenous language. And the matter came up yesterday when Lagos State government tweeted in Yoruba. Also, in a related story, Bauchi Assembly reportedly adopts Hausa as the official language of communication in their state. Following the development, Hausa will be used in addition to English in conducting the business of the House, according to Daily Trust. The Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abubakar Suleiman, announced this at the plenary shortly after member representing Shira Constituency, Honorable Auwal Hassan, moved a motion on Tuesday, July 11. So the point is, we've been discussing how it's important for us to return to our indigenous languages. Obviously, many children these days, the average young child out there probably doesn't understand their local language. And we've been advocating for us to be speaking our languages. But the government is taking it a notch higher. Instead of us, it seems that the government is possibly finding a way to introduce languages for a different reason. People are now asking questions. Why would Lagos State government tweet in Yoruba? Are you weighing to some people?
Are you?
Sorry.
She's speaking the Yoruba now.
The Yoruba. You know, are you subtly communicating something else to certain people? Or is it just a real direct plan to ensure that our children begin to understand and appreciate their local dialect? That's the conversation today. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081 0764 1679 090 241 63440. You can always tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so before we started the conversation, we reminded ourselves that even Lagos State government, for as far back as quite a number of years ago, every Thursday, I think, or Wednesdays, one day during the week, they hold plenary in Yoruba. I guess the idea was to foster the language, maybe to identify with the language. But if we look at it vis-a-vis the last elections, because that's what this is about, you know, people are saying, is it possible that the Lagos State government is trying to impose on the language because they're trying to reiterate or reinforce the fact that Lagos State is a Yoruba state? I mean, these are the different conversations online. What are your thoughts? Let me come to Mariam. You want to start?
No, I think the Yoruba person should.
Okay.
I have my opinion.
So when the Lagos State started the issue of language being used, I think I was trying to get the date. It was 2017. The conversation was politicized at that time. And it was because some people felt that Lagos State had Igbo representatives in the House of Assembly, and that was why they decided to start speaking Yoruba once a week during plenary. That if you are a House of Assembly member in Lagos State, in a state that is a Yoruba state, then you should be able to speak the language. Some of them complained at the time. But I think that we've always spoken about identity. If you don't know yourself, one of the core part of our identity is our language. It is who we are. It helps to shape who we are. And the more we publicize our different languages, the more people have a stronger sense of identity and their attachment to the soil, to where they are from. So there's a good intention. The timing of it might seem political, but there's really no good time to do the right thing. If it's the right thing to do, let's do the right thing. So if Bauchi is talking about Hausa, as long as every other person, other smaller language within the community don't feel like they've been sidelined, then it's okay. Lagos is promoting Yoruba. The only other language that is obviously a Lagos language is Egun. Yeah. And I was happy to see that as they tweeted in Yoruba, they also tweeted in Egun. So that meant that Lagos State understood the fact that it wasn't just about the Yoruba people within Lagos. We also have the Egun people who are indigenous to Lagos. The only other other part of Lagos that I didn't mention is there's a bit of Ijebu. Ekpe speaks like Ijebu kind of Yoruba, but they can speak, they can understand Yoruba. Is Egun that is a bit different from Yoruba. So I'm 100% in support of indigenous language being tweeted. I think that people should learn. It would also encourage students to start thinking more in that line when they realize there's a commercial value in future for them knowing their language.
So first off, for me, it's a good idea. I love the idea of, yes, I do, of, encouraging our indigenous languages. There's some of our languages that are going extinct, some places. So on that level, I agree. But I'm a bit concerned for places like Plateau State with 40 or so languages. I know that the South too, they have states where in one state they have many languages as well. I know there's something about picking a language and deciding, okay, this will be the main language. It also gives the people who speak that language like a
superiority.
Like some sort of superiority over the other communities. And because the Middle Belt, Plateau State especially, we are constantly having this crisis about who really belongs where, who owns what, this sort of thing. I don't know how it will translate to places like that. But I like, yesterday we were studying French with my daughter and learning everything, and I just thought how interesting it would be that people outside Nigeria will be learning Nigerian languages and doing it in school. So I like the idea, but how we talk about localizing some things. Right. I see it working in the Southwest. Many people speak Yoruba, and I don't think that there's any conflict really in the Southwest about based on the language that you speak. Right. Many people are willing, and it's easy for them to just speak the Yoruba. But in other places, it's a contentious issue. It will cause fight. So I wonder how it's going to reflect in places like Plateau State, in South areas, and other Middle Belts.
Yeah. So I think it's a welcome development. I'm always a proponent of going back to the roots, going back to our local languages, and understanding where we are from, what our identity is, and language is a part of it, like Tope rightly said. However, this is just what I call, trying to solve the matter from the surface, aside from the fact that people have said it's politically motivated because of the last elections and all of that. It goes beyond just speaking it at the House of Assembly. So I am somebody who understands that if you have to play active role in leadership of a particular place, you must understand the people, you must understand their language, to be a part of it, right? But I know that for instance, in our schools, we do not have qualified, no longer have, we used to have back in the days, but we no longer have qualified teachers in our local languages. Is a deficit that we need to start working on. So it's not just about having people at the state houses and houses of representatives and assemblies to speak the language because they're in a particular place. What are the plans to make sure that going forward we are raising children who understand their local languages? And I understand Miriam's point of contention that it may bring, especially in some locations where there are lots of languages in that area. But I know that growing up, we're told that for every, for instance, the three major languages, when they mention it, they will say, they'll come to a geopolitical zone that has one language, and they will unanimously pick one that will be the standard, the one that you read in school and the one you write in school. I know that there are different Igbo languages, but there's one particular one that we read and write. Right. That's the standard one. So I think the conversation will be coming together as a community. Which of this one are we picking to represent this language? That may be something that Nigerians, everybody's language cannot be picked because we will just be, it will be like the Tower of Babel. We'll be speaking and nobody will understand. But we must come to an agreement. And if we want to move forward, sometimes it's not about my language is more superior. It's about the greater good. Okay, can we agree that we are going to take this language on and work on it? So it's just not about the House of Assembly. They need to start telling us what they're doing to our schools, our teachers.
Yeah, so you're right. It's beyond that. But let me take Dr. Demetrius from Calabar. Thanks for calling, sir.
Hello.
Good morning. You're live.
Yeah. I'd like to make contributions on that indigenous language issue because it's actually a bitten issue. First of all, I enjoy that thing that people say I'm a first-time caller. So I'm a first-time caller. Hello?
Yes, we just clapped for you.
Am I still on?
Yes, you are. We just clapped for you.
Listen to your
phone. All right. Okay, so, thank you. So, the indigenous language issue is a very serious problem. Like I've heard some of the contributions you have made there, various areas, regions, local governments. In Cross State, for instance, we have, like someone has mentioned there, we even have some communities where the men speak a different language, dialect from the females and all that. So those kinds of issues, I'm really wondering how we can handle it. And yet, it is a very serious problem to national development. I'm a Christian, please, but I also remember the issue of the Tower of Babel when God had to turn the language of the people, and they could not understand themselves. We will continue to have these problems until we do something, especially as Africa. It is my earnest view that before now, Africa should have, the leadership of Africa should have thought of a unified language. Also, I wonder what kind of language should we choose? But there's the possibility of choosing very popular languages. We have something like Zulu, we have Hausa Language, maybe we can also tinker with the Yoruba language or something like that. We can think of coming that way, and it's a possibility for us. Yes. Imagine that we learn, every individual, every little child in the primary school learns to speak one language. Yeah. Imagine the kind of impact.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Demetrius. I mean, that's a good point he's making. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll try to wrap up on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.